Yo, 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 yo. Y'all know what it is, man. Team pop up, man. Pop up show, man. But we had this one planned for y'all. Um,
Mhm.
man, we hit the ground running early in 2025 season before the season starts. And like I told y'all, even when we was at training camp, we were working. And
Right.
cause this is what we do, man. But before we get started, man, we want to welcome in former Falcons offensive lineman, Mike Johnson, former third round pick of the Atlanta Falcons out of the University of Alabama. And
Mhm.
I hate to say that Alabama word because I'm a diehard Georgia fan, but we're gonna let that ride for the day. Uh,
Hey, man, I
but
come in peace. I come in peace.
Hey
hey,
man, former national champion right there, man.
That's
facts,
right,
facts,
man. That's right. Many,
facts,
many blessings on that end of things. And Georgia's having their heyday right now. So look, it is what it is, man. It's all fun for me.
facts,
Yes,
facts,
sir.
facts. But to get right into it, man, we're talking about college football, you and your Alabama days, and we're in the training camp part of the season right now. What was it like for you as an offensive lineman transitioning from college football to the NFL as a third round pick? What was your mindset?
Mm.
Yeah, I'll be honest, it was tough. I think that I came from a program, and I think a lot of Georgia guys actually face this too. I came
Mm.
from a program that had so many guardrails built in. Nick Saban made sure that you weren't going to stray too far from the things you needed to do to be successful. And I'm talking about like you didn't have the option to eat the wrong food. You didn't have the option to go to class. There was no option to work out in February, March, things like that. I mean, the guardrails around guys inside of these programs, like in Alabama, like a Georgia, are very strict. So when you get to the NFL, I think you just kind of assume that the NFL is the best of the best strength coach, the best of the best dietitians. I think a lot of guys get to that level and they look back and they go, I don't know, maybe I did have it better, at Bama or at Georgia, and the
Right.
guardrails are kind of taken off, and all of a sudden you're kind of in control of your own diet and your own workout routine, your own upkeep as far as your body goes. So I probably trusted in that process a little too much, and it took me a little bit of time to actually, kind of take control of my own situation and put in the work back again to be able to get back to that place. So when I got to the NFL, I mean, the world was spinning. I mean, the world was absolutely spinning. I played,
Right.
obviously, and you mentioned the national title, win the national title. 2 days
Mhm.
later, I'm at combine training. 2 weeks later, I'm at the Senior Bowl. A month after that, I'm at the combine. A month and a half after that's the draft. I mean, it's just the whole world spinning. A week after that's rookie mini camp. So it was a lot of work, man. And that was a very, very long year. You don't have an off season between college and the pros. So yeah, it was a tough transition for me. Other guys make it a little more smoothly, but rookie ball when you get to the NFL, it ain't for the faint of heart, man. You got to hit the ground running.
And a lot of people don't understand that because they keep talking about what's going on with Jalen Walker. You got to remember, Jalen Walker been
Bro.
Yeah.
working all off season, so it's time for his body to get some rest before the season starts. So by
Absolutely.
you explaining that, that should explain to a lot of people that's watching the show is a rigorous training thing coming from college to the NFL because you got to understand you come into a faster sport, a higher
Right.
IQ sport. So when you talk about mentally and physically, it's hard to adjust to that sometimes.
Well,
So
and
I get it.
yeah, and I'll capitalize on that too. And what you don't understand as well is they are. I'm not going to say they might be. They are utilizing Jalen in different ways than he was utilized at Georgia. I mean, I know he
Absolutely.
did rush the
Right.
passer,
Absolutely.
but he played more off the ball linebacker, and they use Jalen Walker to his strengths. And so, you're not necessarily going to do that right now if you're Jeff Ulbrich. You're not going to design the defense around Jalen Walker and everything
Right,
else.
right,
He's going
right.
to kind of get in where he fits in. So he's having to really adjust on the fly and make sure that he's doing the things necessary. And that, I'm just telling you, man, that playbook's different. That whole mindset is different. And so that that is it's a tough process, man. And I've kept a close eye on him out there for that reason.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. When you think about it too, man, Jalen Walker, he's used to playing a lot of football because Georgia is normally going far as well. So people have to keep that in mind as well. But let's get into the trenches as far as like camp battles, preseason battles, and everything. We know that Ryan Newsel is our starting center as he should be, but behind him, it's a guy named Joshua Gray, and you also have Javon Gwynn. Like, which one of those two guys can you see being the actual backup by the end of August?
Well, I think Javon Gwynn right now has got the kind of keys to the car. And obviously he's been around a couple of years, was a late round draft pick a couple of years ago. I actually was standing about 5 feet from Joshua Gray yesterday as he's getting ready to enter the scrimmage. And he turned to another offensive lineman. Remember, Joshua Gray hasn't played a ton of center. So he turns to another offensive lineman. He's like, hey, man, catch these shotgun snaps. And I mean, I'm literally had to catch a ricochet as Josh Gray kind of like one of them hit off the offensive lineman's hand up here. And I had to kind of catch it and hand it back to him. And he's like, he's a little bit nervous about his snaps, hasn't played a ton of center. I think that in the end, Javon Gwynn's part of that 8-man rotation when you talk about, being available on game day. Usually that's, 8 linemen that'll be dressed out on game day. But I think there's a spot for a Josh Gray to enter the fray as far as the, the practice squad goes. So I don't think he's there yet. I think there's more upside to a Joshua Gray. Javon Gwynn, very good in his own right. And I've witnessed his ups and downs throughout training camp so far. He's had a couple of times where maybe he hasn't gone on the right cadence. Maybe he's gone on 2 instead of 1 or 1 instead of 2 and snapped the ball. And I've seen him be yanked out of practice. It's like, hey, man, bring somebody else in here to play center right now. But I think the job's his. I think we'll see more of that, obviously, on Friday night. But, as it stands right now, I think Javon Gwynn's got the upper hand in that battle.
And let's stay on the offensive line. Jack Nelson, 7th-round pick, to me was a big sleeper pick. The Falcons need help at the right tackle position. We know Storm Norton has been, battling injuries so far in training camp. Jack Nelson, what have you seen from him so far that you like, and how is he coming along?
It's really fun to answer that question right now. For guys like y'all that pay close attention, the Falcons went to the indoor facility on Tuesday. Absolutely. And then did the scrimmage yesterday. And in the indoor, Jake Matthews was pulled out for some veteran upkeep. I'm guessing it was because of the turf on the indoor. You don't necessarily want those guys to practice real hard and do all those drills on the turf. Right. Caleb McGarry's been dealing with an ankle, I think, a little bit throughout a lot of the preseason. And then, like you mentioned, Storm Norton was actually not a part of what they were doing. So in front of Michael Penix at right tackle was Jack Nelson. I mean, he was the guy that was blocking James Pierce, Jalen Walker, Khalid Kareem, some of these other guys. He did okay. I think as the practice wore on, he got a little more tired, and he was, it was like, my feet were moving really good to start, and at the end, once you're like 50 reps in, he was definitely a little more gassed. But I think there's a lot of upside there. If you were going to tell me that Jack Nelson was starting week 1 for the Falcons, I'd be like, but that ain't good. But I think he moves well. He's got great length. And I think there's a lot of upside there. I was actually talking to one of my counterparts, Dave Archer, who does the Falcons radio broadcast, and kind of explained to that as well. I don't know that he's there yet, but I think his feet are on par with, if not better than, a Caleb McGarry. McGarry's obviously more dominant in the run game, but I think Jack Nelson really provides you with a baseline that you can work with from a 7th-round draft pick. So we'll see where that kind of comes, but I think that he really has displayed so far exactly what I thought he'd be, and if not a little bit more, being a 7th-round draft pick. I think there's some stuff to work with there.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, I know another thing going into this preseason game, Raheem Morris has said that, it's going to be rookies getting some snaps. Of course, I know they're going to delegate with that, but on the field, I know it's hard to choose one because we have so many impactful rookies that's already coming in, having that dog mentality. But which one of these guys are you looking forward to on Friday of really like stepping up between our draft picks?
Oh man. Can I cheat? Can I pick a second-year guy?
Okay. Everybody gets one.
I think everybody's looking forward to James Pierce. Right. I mean, let's come on. Like, everybody's looking forward to James Pierce.
Absolutely.
So I think that would have been a throwaway answer for me. That's in the radio business. You're like, hey, that's just a throwaway. That's a slam dunk. James Pierce is going to be that guy. I mean, I feel like we're taking off Rey Mysterio's mask on Friday by getting him in the Falcons uniform and getting him out there. Getting a chance to finally see how he matches up on an NFL field. Let me cheat though. Can I go cheat? And I'm going to go with a 2nd-year guy, and I'm going to go with Casey Washington, man.
Love it.
Yeah. I really, really, really want to see Casey Washington. To me, has so much upside and so much athleticism, but last year at this time, when we got a chance to see Casey Washington in the preseason and throughout, honestly, when he was active in the actual games, I didn't think the catch radius was where it needed to be. You know, so many times we talk about Drake London and, man, he back shoulders, climbing the ladder, mossing people, running this route. Casey Washington could run all the routes and run them very cleanly, but I don't know that he always makes those 50-50 catches or those ones that are a little bit behind him or the one where he really has to stretch out or go up the ladder.
Right.
But so far in training camp, I've seen it. I know it's in there from Casey Washington. And with the Darnell Mooney injury, it's kind of opened up the door for him to really get more of those reps. So I think there's a fun battle right there at the back end of that wide receiver room between Washington, David Sills, Chris Blair, Dylan Drummond. I mean, there's really a lot of talent in that room. You know, when you talk about numbers 5, 6, 7, whatever it is in the wide receiver room. So I know that's cheating. I know that's not answering the question, but he's a second-year guy that I'm really looking forward to putting my eyes on tomorrow night and seeing what he's all about, because I think the sky is the absolute limit for him.
To add on to that question right quick, how many receivers do you see the Falcons keeping? Because the wide receiver job is just, it's just so wide open. How many receivers do you think they keep?
You know, it's a little bit tough to say. I think you first of all, you gotta figure out where Jamal Agnew stands, because right now I think he's your returner. But if that's all he can do, then it becomes a little bit more tough. And you're going to balance a lot of these guys in terms of, can they cover a kick? I mean, look, man, I was in Atlanta with Keith Armstrong. Anybody that's ever watched or know anything about Keith
heard
Armstrong,
those stories.
Hey, look, we used to get him in every year, guys. I tell the story all the time. Keith Armstrong, undoubtedly, he'd get a guy like a Casey Washington in, and he'd bring him in. He'd tell him to stand up, and he'd say, hey, man, all right, Casey Washington, stand up. What position you play? And he'd say, I play wide receiver. And he would be like, no, the hell you don't. You don't play wide receiver. You play L4 on the kick cover. You play PP. You a gunner. Like, you don't – Julio Jones and Roddy White and Harry Douglas play wide receiver. You just cover kicks, man. Hey, that's all you do. Like, you don't need to worry about no wide receiver mess. So that it's funny to think back on. But look, man, that's the nature of the beast when you play wide receiver, corner, safety, linebacker. We've seen with D'Angelo Malone. Those guys have to be able to play special teams. So I think there's the balance at the back end of the wide receiver in the corner room. It's like you need bodies here, you need bodies there, but which one can cover? And so I think that's where a guy like Casey Washington probably gets a little bit of a hand up in that battle with David Sills and Chris Blair, because I think he's a better special teamer. So I don't know. I think you're probably going to keep 6 off the rip, and that, you can kind of play with that number either way, but I think 6 will probably be the number for now, as they move out of training camp and get things settled on the practice squad.
Right. So, okay, as I'm looking at this old depth chart here, I'm seeing that, you got rookies being ahead of vets on the depth chart, like Ruka Roro, like Brandon Dorless, second-year guy. And I wanted to know, like, does that signal, like, how aggressive the defense is going to be pressuring Detroit's backups?
That's a good question. The thing that really stuck out to me as well, and I'm not sure which version of it you're looking at, but you look at the depth chart that the team provided. Their depth chart was based out of nickel. There's only two defensive linemen on that, and then you got the 3 sets of edges, which I thought was really, really interesting. Most of the time you don't see a depth chart come out in a nickel defense with 2 spots on the for defensive tackles. I think that, look, we've talked a number of times throughout the preseason so far and throughout training camp of, it's not only that you want this defense to play different under Jeff Ulbrich up front, but you have to play differently. You don't have Grady. You don't have Eddie Goldman. Eddie Goldman's a massive missing piece. I actually had a chance to ask Terry Fontenot about this in person. I said, look, Eddie Goldman's not here. How quickly did you get to have that conversation with Jeff Ulbrich and say, here's what I need, where Jeff Ulbrich can outline the kind of bodies that he wants? And, they talk about more of a chaotic defense where bodies going one way and the other. I've seen so many different sets, to your question, up front of 2 defensive linemen, 2 edges. Caden Ellis walked up in a B gap, twist stunts. Wow. They're going to be aggressive. And what's interesting about that is, if you go back and watch the Hall of Fame game from a week ago, both defenses were really aggressive in terms of the blitz, specifically the Detroit Lions and Trey Lance did a really nice job beating them. So usually in these first couple of preseason games, guys, it's like a unspoken rule of like, we ain't going to blitz too much. We want to see how well these guys play in base defense. But I almost get the feel that the Falcons' base defense is a blitz. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's probably what it's going to be. I think their blitz percentage last year was only like 23rd or 24th in the NFL. I think that number is going to shoot through the roof this year in terms of what they're being asked to do.
Awesome.
Man, that's great feedback on the defense. But I'm gonna make it a little tougher for you.
Okay.
Xavier Watts is the rookie I'm looking forward to this year, and I think he's going to snatch that starting spot at some point this year. How much does this secondary, the way they've upgraded, how much do you think it helps the pass rush?
I think schematically, you're probably going to help the pass rush immensely. And what I mean by that is a lot's been made about Matthew Judon last year, right? And a lot has been asked about what his effort level was. And if you go back and watch the defense last year and how much of a cushion Mike Hughes, AJ Terrell, the outside corners were giving during the first half of games, right? I think that these quarterbacks, I mean, the quarterbacks against the Falcons last year in the first half had to have had the greatest stats in NFL history. It was like Baker Mayfield, 12 of 14. Dak Prescott, 11 of 12. I mean, they're just simply picking you apart up and down the field. And it's a 6-yard completion, a 7-yard completion. You know, Mike Hughes is having to come fly up and make tackles. So I say all that to say, I think Matthew Judon on the edge, he got a little bit lulled to sleep. It was like, man, I'm coming off rushing. Oh, the ball's gone. Oh, I'm going to put this move on. Oh, the ball's gone. Hey, I'm really good. The ball's gone. And I think he got into that feeling with that cushion out there saying, man, I don't even know why I'm rushing the passer anymore. These guys are getting the ball out so fast because of the cushion behind me that there's really not that much thought process going on. I'm just trying to jump up and bat the ball down. So I think it all kind of works in tandem, right? Where all of a sudden maybe you will have an AJ walk up a little bit more in press coverage. I had a chance to talk to AJ Terrell last Thursday, and that was one of the questions I asked him. You know, how much do you prefer having the cushion? Do you prefer walking up? And he said, you know, look, I'll do a little bit of both, but you know, they both kind of have their positions in terms of what we're being asked to do. So I think Ulbrich, knowing that you want the blitzes to get home, maybe you do walk up a little bit tighter. You kind of force the hand on the wide receiver to get off the line of scrimmage, and maybe that allows the guys up front to get home a little bit faster, or at least keeps their nose more involved in the pass rush throughout the game.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's stay right there at the safety position, and I'm gonna ask you because you got that NFL eye. It's for everyone who's listening.
Hey, I don't know about
Jordan
safety
Fuller.
now.
hey, I'm just saying. Regardless, though, like you know NFL talent. Let's say that and everything. Okay, so you see Jordan Fuller. You already know he used to play under Raheem. Xavier Watts, his collegiate career was pretty awesome, especially when it comes to taking the ball away. Then you have DeMarco Willems, someone I know that you probably know extremely personally, coming from the same alumni, and he is, you know, somebody who's like a thumper to me. But out of those three guys, like, who looks the most comfortable communicating in the defense and in the setting so far? Still early, but so far, who's looking the most comfortable?
You know, I don't know that there's an answer to that, and it's not me not knowing or not watching it. I'm not sure the coaches know. To be real, I think they're all, you know, even though DeMarco Hellams has been around a little bit, he was hurt all year last year, and now it's a different defense. Now Jeff Ulbrich's asking you different things. I've actually seen DeMarco Hellams spend a little bit of time as Jesse Bates backup at the free position. I think there is so much upside to Xavier Watts, but it's such a communication heavy position, right? When you talk about that safety role and flying down in the box and rotating and you know, kind of messing with the quarterback's eyes and things like that. So I've paid a lot of attention to those three guys specifically, and I've seen all three of them really have their ups and downs. I saw Jordan Fuller not be able to get back to a deep third the other day, and Penix dropping one in the bucket over his shoulder. But I've also seen him come up and break up a ball over the middle and have nice fits and, you know, against Kyle Pitts and things like that. So I'm not sure there is truly a front runner. I think they just all, as part of your question, you asked it. I think they all do different things better. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think Helms is a thumper, a box player. I think Fuller's got that vet attitude. I think Xavier Watson's got that youth to him and probably a higher ceiling in the end than the other two. But right now, I don't know that he has that chemistry with Jesse on the back end. So that's another one that I think is really, really big, watching over the course of the next 3 weeks and watching it play out.
Absolutely. That was a great question, Chris. But let's get to the other side of football right quick. We know that the Falcons are going to lean a lot on the run to open up the play action pass and no huddle, all that to get Michael Penix in rhythm. The Falcons offensive line, to me, it's always been the backbone probably the last 3-4 years. But do you still think that's the case going into this season because of what they have accumulated on defense? It's the offensive line and controlling the football. That's still the backbone of this team?
Well, you asking an offensive lineman that, I'm definitely going to tell you it is. No, man, and what's interesting to me is there's still how do I say it? There's still so much more there. There's still so much more meat on the bone for the offensive line. They're obviously very famously very good at wide zone. Caught up with Chris Lindstrom 2 weeks ago. I said, hey, man, what has Chris Lindstrom been focusing on this offseason? He said, I know that people want me to say, pass pro. He's like, I focused on wide zone. That's what I do. I run wide zone offenses, and I climb to second levels, and I communicate with the center and the right tackle and Caleb McGarrett and Ryan Newsel, and we double team guys and we overtake and we climb. That's what we do. I'm not going to, stray away from that. He's like, so I know it sounds lazy to say, but that's what I focused on. So I think that the offensive line is that group. I think there's still, and I say there's more meat on the bone because I think they'll be even better this year because in pass pro, they've had a tendency to struggle at times, particularly Caleb McGarry, Ryan Newsel as well. And I think that when you look at Michael Penix's ability to flush and pick up a first down with his legs, it's just something the Falcons have not seen more times than not in the last 17 years. I mean, I'm not talking about just last year. I'm talking about the whole Matt Ryan era, all that kind of stuff. So, I think that when you get rushed as an offensive lineman, if a defensive lineman knows that there is that threat, not that, not a design run, not a read option, not a this, that, and the other. If the defensive lineman just simply knows that the threat is there, all of a sudden when they engage, they're peeking in the backfield a little bit. You know what I mean? They're hey, where's he at? Is he moving? Last year, when Kirk's in the backfield and he's standing still and he's a statue, that D lineman's just teeing off. Like I just got to get to a spot and I can get the guy down. Michael Penix, if he flashes it once a game, maybe in the first quarter, where he can really take off and get something done with his legs, I think all of a sudden that changes everything for the offensive line. So I think they're the backbone. I think Bijan really is kind of the backbone because he can do so many things. But I think that offensive line probably takes a next step this year and becomes even better because of what Michael Penix is able to do.
Love it. Love to hear it. Okay, so every year someone shocks us in training camp. A guy that just steps up and just is having an outstanding camp. Which guy could you see that being at the end of August?
Ooh, that's a really good question, man. Let me think about it. Well, and I'll say this. I think it's kind of lazy to say Michael Penix because he's a starting quarterback, but I watched them scrimmage yesterday, and I thought his ability to throw off play action. Everybody has seen it. It's been on Atlanta Falcons Twitter, dropping balls in the bucket to, Casey Washington, Ray McLeod, back shoulder to Drake. I think he's been great. I got one for you. We haven't brought this guy up yet, and I have heard rave reviews from teammates, coaches, media, and that's Divine Diablo.
Yes, sir.
I was not sure what to expect.
Yeah.
And then the first thing I did when they signed him is I went and turned on the tape of the Las Vegas Raiders playing the Falcons last year. We all remember that game. It was a Monday Night Football. It was awful. Awful.
Man, I was there.
Look, my microphone coming on for the post game show and having to do a post game and talk about that. I was like, dude, my eyes are bleeding. I don't even want to talk about it. But I watched Divine Diablo, and he, about 7 or 8 tackles in that game against the Falcons, just all over the place. I think the speed, the explosion, we haven't really seen Troy Anderson in training camp. And so that's really opened the door for Divine Diablo to kind of be that dude in terms of what the Falcons are looking for. And Terry Fontenot said it to me personally. I was talking to Terry. We had him on the air, and he said, look, one of the first things Jeff Ulbrich said, he brought up Foye Aluakon. And he was like, I'm kind of looking for this safety, rangy, but willing to thump, willing to step up and make plays. And that guy for our defense was Divine Diablo. So Divine was kind of hand selected by Jeff Ulbrich as a guy that they would want involved in this defense. And the array of reviews from all over the place about the communication with Caden, communication with guys up front, and really his ranginess. By the time we get to the end of August, I think he's going to be a really big storyline for this defense.
Going into this first preseason game, what do you want to see out of this Atlanta Falcons team? What would you like to see the most?
One of the things that we're going to talk about on the pregame show tomorrow is there was sprinklings throughout preseason last year of how bad I don't want to say play design, but how bad you were on third down. You were abysmal. And I know that it's training camp. It's a very basic offense. But at a certain point, you start looking at the play designs and some of the formations, and you start going, I don't know if this team's going to hit the ground running in week 1. You know what I mean? Right. And I think that really obviously came to fruition when TJ Watt completely ruined week 1 for the Atlanta Falcons. It was on third down, and he became abysmal. And after that point, it was such an uphill climb on third down for the Falcons. They were one of the best teams in the NFL on first and second, staying ahead of the chains. But third down was awful. And if you go back and look at preseason last year, it was like 1 of 10, Heineke, 1 of 12 on third down. And you're like, this is so bad. So I think I want to come out tomorrow and see formationally maybe some slight differences formationally in what they're doing, not just the simple 11 personnel with a tight end split and a pistol form. I'm talking about just let me see the motions. I want to see some of the Mike McDaniel, Andy Reid style motions where and they're not, like I said, they're not going to open up the bag of tricks in the preseason, especially with Easton Stick starting at quarterback.
Right.
But I think I just want to see a slight uptick in efficiency, just a little bit more efficiency to where I'm not going through the preseason going, oh, here we go again, Zach Robinson. Like, here we go again, dude. I just think that formationally on offense, I just want to see a little bit more throughout the next 3 weeks.
Oh, man. Hey, that's a good question right there. Where is Nick Nash in this offense?
I got that question on Twitter yesterday, and I can't answer it. Just haven't seen very much of him, man. And that's crazy to say. The guy that I thought would be Nick Nash in this camp has been David Sills, the veteran wide receiver that went to West Virginia and very famously was offered by Lane Kiffin in 7th grade. I thought that would be Nick Nash, and it's been David Sills. And Chris Blair is still there, and Jesse Matthews and Dylan Drummond. And point blank, I haven't seen much of Nick Nash. And that's worrisome for me because I'm like a lot of Falcons fans that saw the signing, saw the college stats, saw the output, and I was like, oh, we got to steal with this one. But it hadn't been there. I mean, there's been other guys on offense and defense where I'm like, oh man, I gotta look up that guy's number. I'm not sure who he is. But then you get the Nick Nash where you are looking for them and you have to keep searching because it's like, I'm not sure where he's at. So just to put it lightly, he hasn't flashed in training camp so far. And so I'm hoping that these preseason games provide him an opportunity because I haven't seen much of him. I haven't seen him catch a ball in 11 on 11s. He's done good in one-on-ones. When the quarterbacks are throwing to the left and the right side of the field, it's been fine. But I haven't seen much of him. And so that's a little bit concerning.
And
Yeah.
it's funny about what you said about David Steels, because I know Drake London was saying that he used to watch tape on David Steels or something, and now so right now they're teammates. That's funny.
He's a dog. I'm just gonna look. He has a very specific skill set. Like I said, I don't think he's gonna go out there and be your gunner on punt team. But David Sills is a very quality option out of fifth wide receiver spot. And I've been really impressed with his route running so far throughout camp.
Okay, one last question before we let you go, and we can go around the panel however you want to do it. But name one player on both sides of the ball that you're just watching in particular.
I will say for the defense, I'm going to be watching, and I'm assuming that he's playing tomorrow night. But Khalid Kareem, I didn't know who Khalid Kareem was before camp started, and I mean, straight up, this same thing happened last year. If y'all remember James Smith-Williams from last year, he was number 50.
Oh yeah,
He ended up getting dinged up midway through the season. But I went out to training camp last year. Day one, the first outside linebacker on the field was James Smith-Williams, and I was like, I'm like checking the roster. I'm like, who is that dude? That guy has been Khalid Kareem so far. Got an elbow brace. Looks like a RoboCop out there, just going at it. He's been really, really good on defense. I'm really looking forward to watching him. And then on offense, the third tight end, whoever it is, I don't know. I really don't know. But we got Charlie Warner and you got Kyle Pitts. Mm-hmm. Who was the other one? Is it Felipe Franks? Is it Quatoriano? Is it Joshua Simon? There's a number of names at the third tight end spot. And I'm going to assume that Charlie Warner and Kyle Pitts are not playing. Right. I want to know who's playing their roles in that game tomorrow night and throughout preseason. So little bit of on both sides. I think that's two of the spots that I'll be really, really paying attention to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But Mike, we want to thank you for coming on, man. We know you got a busy schedule. You got things to do. We would like to welcome you back on the show during the season, man, if you got time, to talk Falcon football. And it was a pleasure meeting you at training camp. I didn't get a chance to meet you. Chris did.
Yeah, man.
But again, man, we thank you for coming through. And if you want to, man, tell everybody where to find you.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you guys having me on. And obviously, we're out at training camp. I think we're out there for 3 days next week as well. But I'm on 92.9 every single morning with the morning shift. And then I also do the Falcons Radio Network pre- and post-game show. So I am hosting the post-game. If you're in Atlanta, you can turn on 92.9 tomorrow at 5 o'clock, and you'll hear this voice welcoming you into Mercedes-Benz Stadium for the Atlanta Falcons against the Detroit Lions. But I always appreciate it. I saw that question pop on the screen about pulling offensive linemen, and it got
That's my boy Shaka Zulu. That's my boy.
Hey, look, don't even get me started, Shaka Zulu. This is one of those things. I think they will, Shaka Zulu. I think they will incorporate some pulling offensive linemen. I've seen sprinkles of it. Not enough for my liking, but I've seen sprinkles of it to where I think it could be a thing. So we'll see. But I'm all about the power play, the counter plays, the traps and things like that. So hopefully that's something. But I do, man. I appreciate you guys. Anytime you want to have me on, hit me up, and we'll get up and chop it up sometime during the year.
Hey. All right. Thank you, Mike. We appreciate you, my dude.
Appreciate y'all, my man.
No doubt.
Sir.
Yes, that's our boy Mike Johnson stopping through, man.
92.9 game, baby.
I got to give a shout out to Chris, man. Chris worked hard to get that interview, man. Hard.
Oh, man, I appreciate it, brother.
So, yeah, appreciate you, man. But we can stay on just a little bit longer, man. We want to talk about this preseason game and what we're looking forward to. He talked about it a little bit. Mm-hmm. And y'all can drop y'all thoughts in the chat of what y'all would like to see in this first preseason game, which I know it probably won't be much. But what I would like to see.
I'm gonna ask you the same thing I just asked Mike.
Okay, go ahead.
Same question. What guys, one on offense, one on defense, or who are you looking at?
I'm looking at, I would say, the third string running back. Corbin, he's been playing pretty good, and we saw him first day of training camp. We saw the speed, we saw the agility, and I want to see who can lock down the number 3 running back spot, because we cut Jace, the kid we drafted last year. We 6th round running back, McClellan, who went to Alabama as well. I want to see who takes that 3rd running back spot, because behind Bijan and Tyler, who's going to be that number 3 guy that can come in and give them guys a break when need be. And on defense, that's pretty easy, man. I want to see what D'Angelo Malone can do. I want to
Mhm.
see can he capitalize going into this season on what he's learned his first couple of years in the league. And I still think he has a great skill set because, as I told y'all, 30 plus sacks and no matter what level he's on is tough. So
Right.
when he finally got his chance to play, he got 2 sacks in one game. I would like to see have he learned from his ups and downs the first couple of years in the league, and can he take to another level and make his team? And I know he may have a good chance as a special teams guy, but
Right.
D'Angelo Malone is one on defense I would love to see. Has he grown any since those first couple of years?
I like that. I really do. Really, really do. Okay. So for me on defense, it's obviously going to be at the cornerback position. I want to see where Kobe Bryant fits into this defense. How many snaps they're going to give him, how he's going to look as far as his fluidity, his technique and everything, especially we know he's coming off of that NFI list and everything. So with that injury, possibly. So I want to see what Kobe Bryant has to bring because of course he is one of the most unpopular, the most popular undrafted free agents that you have ever seen, and a lot of guys are
Absolutely.
pulling for him. A lot of fans are pulling for him to make this team somehow, some way. So that's another guy that I'm going to be looking at to see how many snaps did he get, what kind of packages they put him in, just to see what he got on offense. I would say Man, that's interesting. I would say because of things that's going on with our right tackle position, like with Storm Norton not missing practice, and so of course Caleb McGarry's not going to play. I know Jack Nelson has been running over there, just like Mike Johnson has said, and he brought it up, and it made me think about, yeah, who is going to be at that right tackle position. So yeah, I would like to see who's going to be, starting that right tackle and how that he holds up. And I mean, really, it's a few things I'm looking for on that offensive line, to be honest with you. Backup guard, backup center, but I'm gonna stick right there at the right tackle position.
That's a good one, man. And Storm Norton, Jack Nelson, like he said, we know it. Him not being able to keep up with conditioning. That comes with time. No
Mm,
rookie in the NFL is just going to jump off the porch and just be super uber. When you call it cardio, their cardio just not going to be like that because the game is faster. Like I said, and you got to use this more than anything when it comes to playing at the next level.
right.
But Robert Blackman, he agree with you, man. He said right tackle.
Yeah.
Uh, John Brooks said he gonna be honest. I can't wait to see Pierce to play tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely agree with that.
of course. No, of course. I can't wait to see him and Walker. A guy that we got two guys that we haven't talked about, but I'm gonna have my eye on it as well. Is the battle between D. Alford and Billy Bowman Jr. I'm really interested and invested into that as well because we're going to need that position to be so key this year. Other teams that have wide receivers are going to throw in the slot.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
They're going to try to attack that. Thank you, fam. They're going to try to attack that area, I believe. So that's got to be a strong area. Who's going to win that position? Who's going to get more snaps? So I'm looking at that as well.
Yeah, I can see
Rise
that. I can
up.
see that. And I get, and we talked about it on the previous show, man. We understand why the starters and first and second string quarterback not playing. And as I said, man, preseason to me is for the the third string and practice squad players. The players that are trying to make the back end of the roster. That's who is for the most. So yeah, I would love to see Pierce tomorrow, but if I didn't see much of him, I wouldn't be surprised. Gibson Cusack diversified said Trice interior line as a whole. I can't wait to see how Braden Trice bounces back from an ACL injury, and that's going to be key because I
Yes.
just think he's going to be the one battling for a spot. I know, he was a third round pick. Yeah, third round pick, and yeah, he's going to have to battle for that spot, man. It's just that simple. And sometimes injuries are not fair, and they're never fair, really.
Of
But when
course.
you bring in two animals like James Pierce and Jalen Walker, that just made it tough for everybody. Not just him. D'Angelo Malone, Arnold Ebiketie. It just made it tough for everybody. So that's going to be one of the positions that I think the Falcons really are going to have to do some deep soul searching as to who makes the final roster because I think they're going to keep at least 6 edge rushes. Why? Because you need a nice rotation.
Heck yeah, and we's trying to get that pass rush back on point. As far as being consistent. So definitely,
What's
definitely.
up, Tay?
What's going on,
Yeah,
family? How you feeling?
yeah, but
Ah,
Oscar
yeah,
said
that's another one.
he
Yeah, I
want to
was just
see
about to say.
yeah, he want to see Simeon
Barrow,
Simeon Barrow, one of them.
Simeon Barrow, and Simeon Barrow, man. You
Right,
gon'
right.
you don't worry. He gonna make
Hey,
you remember the name. He gonna
hey, I
make
hope
you
he do.
remember the name, Smitty.
I hope he do. And I see him taking somebody's spot, man. I know I said that earlier this year about I seeing him sneaking onto this roster. And I think guys like Contavious Street
Mm,
and Taquan Graham better look out because that kid gonna be hungry. He gonna be fighting for that roster spot.
all
King
right.
Louis said he think Offer was horrible at nickel. I agree with that to a certain extent, and I know y'all talk about that Minnesota game mostly, but I'm telling y'all, a lot of that was on uh, Jimmy Lake not preparing these guys properly,
Man.
and I'm gonna just stick to that
Nobody.
because if you watch the whole season, they were so up and down. You just really didn't know which way they were going to come. But when they took over, the defense from Jimmy Lake, Alford played better, Phillips played better, and defense as a whole just played better. Start forcing turnovers and all that. So I mean
AJ
that's
was putting people in jail. I'm just like,
right, locking people all the way down.
mm-hmm.
So I get it. Jacko, what's good, my guy? Thank you for support, man. Big Tampa Bay fan right here, man. Always
See
supporting the
y'all
sports
week one.
machine. And as I tell y'all, man, we got, you know, people from every fan base that tune into this show. So if you're a opposing team or any of that, thank you for
All right.
tuning into the Sports Machine at A1, man. We truly appreciate it. But Jacko, man, we appreciate you, my brother.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see
Uh,
about week one. Hey, I asked for this. I'm so glad we played the Bucks week one.
hey, I'm telling you, get off to a good start.
We need it.
Darrell said Bergeron would be nasty as a pulling guard. Oh yeah,
Oh, we
we
know
seen
that.
it. We seen it last year. Go
Mhm.
back and take a look at that Saints game. All those pulling blocks that he had. Very, very
So, man, he's
strong young
nasty.
man.
That's another reason why I don't mind keeping him right where he is. I mean, we're bringing in other linemen. You possibly can keep him there, but I know he does have that tackle ability too. But regardless, man, Bergeron is a guy outside of Lindstrom. Bergeron is probably like one of my favorite linemen on our offensive line.
Hey Jacko, hey man, it's just decisions, man. Trust me, I'm gonna keep you tuned in with sports, man. Just tune in here. I'm gonna still try to give you the best content I can, man. I'm gonna miss my boys, TJ, um, Clay, and James. I'm gonna miss those guys, but we still stay in touch. So I still talk to those guys, and we may try to get them on during the season. So they can talk some football with us on the Sports Machine and on A1 Forever.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, everybody raving about Casey Washington, man, and a
Yeah,
lot of
man.
people they liked him last year coming out of Illinois. So and we got chopped up with him just a little bit at training camp, me and A1, just a little bit.
Hmm.
So we'll see, man. We'll see. Let's see.
Said hopefully Brick can establish some consistency on
I
D.
think he will. I
He
think
got
he will.
depth. Yeah, he does have some depth to work with. Some young, fresh talent. He got some veterans that's been proven to get it done. I mean, you guys been hearing about Leonard Floyd and the day he had, pick six on one end, getting a sack on another end, knocking batting balls down and everything. So he's out there getting into regular season form, I believe. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
Hey Vontae, that's a cool nickname, Iceberg. I like that.
Iceberg.
Yeah, he gonna be one of the top guys. I think the Falcons, to me, they got a top three offensive line in the league easily.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's no debate about it because the last 3 to 4 years, they've been near the top in rushing, even when Arthur Smith was here. You got to give him his kudos for that he kept this a running team.
Give him
And
that.
even though he couldn't stay consistent with the pass, if he had to stay consistent with the pass, I think the Falcons would have had better record. And I think he'll still have a job here. Well, hey, it happens. Miss Carey, we appreciate you for always tuning in and showing us love. We truly, truly appreciate it. Louise said, I can't wait to see you shut outside the media. I can't wait for that either because I think they in for a rude awakening.
Time to
Truth be
be the
told.
bullies, y'all. Said, do we
Do
know
we?
all this for sure playing tomorrow besides not Penix and Kurt? I
Mainly
mean,
the second unit. Mainly
yeah,
the second unit.
a lot of the
The
rookies
rookie.
are gonna get some time.
Yeah.
we should be able to see at least all of our draft picks at least get some snaps tomorrow. I'm assuming that. So I mean, I'm just hoping. I'm just hoping to see some Braylon Trice. Who else could possibly be out there? I mean, we got a lot of wide receivers, so that wide receiver room should be on full display quarter by quarter.
Facts. Facts.
So yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting. I can't wait. I can't wait to get there. Can't wait to get there.
Yeah, but I'm definitely gonna give y'all a post game wrap up after the game tomorrow. Let y'all know my thoughts on it, and if any breaking news come about it, I drop that too. But again, man, we want to thank Mike Johnson for coming through, man. Showing us some love, man. Again, Chris, thank you for setting it up, man. That was super awesome. And look, we Falcon fans, man, we out here working, and trust me, we try to set up interviews as the season go on for our preview shows. So trust me, we're gonna have good guests coming in for y'all to talk to, be able to chop it up with. And y'all gonna love it this year, man, because we gonna try to take it to another level. So again, man, if you have any other things to say before we get out of here,
hey,
we
man.
can wrap it on up.
Hey man, we're on the way up again. Some Falcons, they're on the rise. Just like the sports machine, just like A1 Forever, we are definitely on the rise continuously to just give you guys some of the best content that you can find on YouTube and every other platform that you got across there. So make sure you guys are just tuned in and tapped in with us, because we're going to be in for a nice ride the entire season. So, go ahead and scrap on in. As T.I., when it was trap music, I believe it was song number 5. We just doing our job.
Facts. But y'all know where to find me, man. Smitty Sports Machine on YouTube. Also Fatboy Slim _21 on Twitter, because I'm always blowing that thing up. And you can also find me on Instagram at AN2WON, and that's strange spelling. I'll give y'all the reason to that another day. But before I get out here, man, on a sadder note, I lost a good friend of mine, man, last Saturday. She passed away. She had been sick for a while. And I've been on her since 1993, the year I entered high school. Miss San Givens, you were a great friend to me, and you will always be, and trust me, you in my prayers. And Douglas High Astros are a family of pulling, for you, and we know you're going to look down on us and, keep us safe. And thank you for being a good friend to me when I was going through some of my hardest time with my health. This is when Facebook first came around. She was always reaching out, making sure I was okay. And when I got to see her in Savannah a couple of years ago, hadn't seen her forever. But she was with her good friends she's had since she was 6-7 years old. And Miss San Givens, my prayers out with you, man. I know you transitioned, and may God keep you, man, because you were a beautiful soul. And thank you for being a good friend to me. I truly, truly appreciate it. And I know it was tough for the Douglas High family, man, and we lost a good one, man. We lost a good one. That's all I got to say, man. That's all I got to say. But catch us, man. We gonna keep this thing rolling, man, because look,
yeah,
2025 is gonna be special, man. Go ahead. I know you got it. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, just on a more higher note, saying rest in peace to your friend as well, man. I hate to hear about that, honestly, but just want to say, back on July 27th, my mom had her birthday, so salute to her. And also my sister just passed, my sister's birthday. August 5th was her birthday as well. So, shout out to the Leos. It's y'all season right now. Y'all doing y'all.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Leo, man. My wife is Leo. Yeah, she's July 26th, right before your mom's birthday.
Right.
And man, look. One of my aunt's birthday is 28th. One of my sister's birthday is 24th. So yeah, Leo's in full effect over here, man. I deal with him all the time. So yeah, so hey, Miss Maggie, what's good?
How you feeling?
Man, yeah, we got to keep this thing going, man, because look, it's gonna be an incredible season. I just feel something special in the air. I feel like we're gonna have some good shows this year. Like I said, y'all come through the Sports Machine or A1 Forever event. Because even if it's win or loss, we're going to support them Dirty Birds one way or the other. But for my boy Chris, thank Mike Johnson for coming through. Great interview. as always, man. But we're gonna holler at y'all soon because like Mike, man, I ain't got to pick up no kids, but I got to find something to do, and I'll holler at y'all soon, man. Peace.
Peace.